Previously on The Life of Hollywood.
Definitely that was scary. But the way I look at it is I took a very stoic view of it. I kept telling myself it could have been worse. It wasn't brain cancer, it was a benign tumor. So I kept telling myself it could have been brain cancer. I could be dying, but there's treatment. I can get through this. I can handle this. I kept telling myself that. And sometimes the whistle blows. You just got to go over the trench. You just have to do what has to be done, not because it's easy, not because you want to, but you just have to. And that was kind of the approach I took that kept me mentally stable. And of course, faith. I'm Catholic myself, and that helps a lot with these type of things.
I see. And is there any projects that you're working on currently right now?
Oh, always, always. Oh, there are many irons in the fire. Some of them I'm under NDA. I can't speak freely about. But I have two different events coming up right now in the next couple of weeks, and then we're gonna have a big one that'll be announced soon. That's gonna be in um, August, and so that'll be a great time. I got my start in hip hop and EDM, and then expanded a little bit to country as well, just because it's demand what the people want. But lately, there's been a lot of demand for pop punk, and I was not familiar with this at all. And there's been a pop punk local band here called Jimmy Eat Brisket that has been blowing up and has become super popular in Austin. So you book them somewhere, boom, the whole place sells out. So it's very impressive what they've done. So I know that's been something that has been in high demand. So yeah, no, there's always the future's bright, and there's always some wonderful things coming up. Everyone likes to go out and have a good time and go to a nice event and safe, fun event, and yeah, enjoy themselves.
And are you allowed to mention the upcoming events that you're going to do that are announced right now? And what are they
Oh
about?
yes. Well, we've got this. I've noticed, there are a lot of these social club type of events. There's this social club that brought us on to do a speaker series and a wine social for them. So that'll be very nice. That's going to be a packed house. And then, funny enough, the other one is a Galentine's Day concert. So yeah, I'm going to be there for it's all ladies too. So I'm going to be there for a little bit, and then I'm going to leave and let them enjoy themselves, not be lurking around. So, but no, those will both be good. We have our flagship events, as I call them, usually twice a year to once a quarter, and that's where we bring out an artist with high name recognition. I like to get somebody that has, maybe hasn't had isn't trending on the charts, but still has high name recognition. That's the secret, because you get a much better price and the people know who they are. So we'll have one of our flagship events in August, and then we'll have one later in the year as well. And so that'll be a lot of fun.
And which artists would you love to collaborate with in the future?
You're gonna laugh at this. So I have worked with so many people that know him, and I know so many people that have worked for him or work for him. I'm friends with his DJ. I really want to work with Waka Flocka. I never got an opportunity, which is crazy because he's so common that fraternities and sororities work with him. I just never got the chance to. So I would love to work with him, and then a very aspirational one would be Kendrick Lamar. I think that he's an extremely gifted artist, and I would absolutely love to. I mean, that's a dream. And so, but it's I don't know how much Kendrick Lamar is to book, but
Welcome. Welcome to the life of Hollywood, hosted by Marcus Nocerino. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to season 2, episode 4 of The Life of Hollywood. It's been a long hiatus, but this is a podcast where we converse with working professionals about their start in the competitive world of Hollywood. I'm your host, Marcus Nocerino. Hollywood is full of all the glitz and glam, but behind the scenes, the world where obtaining a job, position, or role is challenging and rough. Today's guest will show us his ways and will introduce us on how he manages to live and inspire the life of Hollywood. My guest today is Alan Santana, who's known for being a professional boxer on the California USA team. He's also a winning producer and author that's known for his book called Unprotected, the Final Round, that's also an independent film. Alan, thank you so much for being here today to talk about your journey in Hollywood.
Hey Marcus, good morning to you. How are you?
I'm good, thank you so much. So, Alan, talk to me about how you got started with the journey in Hollywood, producing, writing, being a professional boxer.
My it's kind of funny how this has all come full circle for me. So as a little kid, I wanted to be an actor. Well, that didn't happen, and then at 16, I was boxing as an amateur. A friend of mine from New York actually flew back out. He was in. We were at the gym in L.A. And he had to go back to New York. So one day he calls me and says, "Alan, I'm going to take you into to go see an agent." So he took me to Hollywood and went to go see George J, who was a old school agent from. He had managed and represented actors from the 1950s and 60s and probably 70s. And when I went to his office, George was a little bit older at the time, but he signed me to be one of his clients, which was really cool. And that was at 16. So I did a few things there, and then life goes on. I'm doing going to school and doing what I've got to do, and I start paving company at 27 years old. And again, I have multiple careers, but I started my paving company. I'm actually still fighting at the time. Uh, Unbeknownst to me, George is calling my father, who never lets me know that he's called, and he's trying to get me out to, on casting calls. Well, it never happens. So one day I called George and I go, "Hey, George, I haven't heard from you for a while." He goes, "Alan, I've been calling your father's office phone, and you probably haven't been getting the messages." So, that went on for a while. I did a few other things with George, and then life took me in a whole different direction. I'm fighting professionally. I'm married, running a company as well. My boxing career is short lived. Fast forward, I'm going to fast forward to when I'm 55 years old. I get written into my very first talking speaking role for a movie called Mundo, the Raymond Mendoza story. And so from there, it opened doors for me. I started producing. I've won several awards for producing as an executive producer. I've got another role. As a matter of fact, I've got another movie coming up very soon here. I'm going to be EP in that, and I have a small role in that movie. I actually turned down a much larger role because I'm so busy right now. And that's come full circle for me. At 55, I was able to get back into the acting business, which I love, and I'm now producing. I probably have produced now 7, 8 independent films. We have my own documentary out titled "Unprotected: The Final Round," which has won 6 or 7 awards, which is amazing for me. I never dreamed that would have ever happened, and the reason that came about, I was in Arizona for an award ceremony where my book had, I'm also a published author, so my book had won an award, and they decided they wanted to film a short documentary on my life story. Once that was done, my publicist started putting it out, and we won several awards for that.
Nice, nice. And talk to me about how you got inspired to write Unprotected, the Final Round, and how that turned into an independent film that won like 7 awards.
Well, here's the book. So again, this is actually the second book. This is a series of books, and I'm actually getting ready to release my third book titled "Unprotected." I was that boy. But this book, the reason I wrote this book again, it's a continuation of my first book, was to educate athletes and educate people that wanted to go into business. I thought it was very important that I did that because so many professional boxers, even baseball players, basketball players, football players wind up broke after their careers are over, or even before their careers are over, they wind up broke. And so I just thought it was imperative that I write a book like that to help educate them on how to kind of navigate I always call it the shark infested waters of sports and even business. That's why I wrote that book.
Nice, nice. And how did that turn into an independent film?
Like I said, we were in Arizona. Nim Stantz, who runs the International Impact Book Awards, decided they wanted to do a documentary on me. So we spent 3 days in Arizona filming the documentary. And again, it just was on a whim. We sat down. They interviewed me. We went back and forth with questions. I then looked at the footage and said, "Hey, let's change this or let's change it," or "I like the way it was," and that's how that came about. It was unexpected, and we're fortunate because now we've won, I think, 6 or 7 awards for the documentary, and we're in another film festival right now, and I think after that we're gonna probably put it out on streaming. I have one more book signing we're talking about doing in August on the 22nd. It's a Saturday. So we're going to screen the documentary there, and I will do a book signing on that day in Santa Ana, California at the Frida Theater. It's a beautiful theater and a great venue to have a book signing and do a documentary showing there.
And what's the process like on submitting independent films to film festivals?
Again, Christian handles a lot of that, but we'll discuss a strategy for that. So I guess what we want to do is try to get him into some of the bigger film festivals. And I'm going to turn around and grab this real quick. This is a Tally Award. This is a beautiful trophy, and we won a bronze award for a documentary. So what's been happening? We have been entering the film in bigger and more recognizable film festivals because I guess once you win a few awards, it kind of opens doors for you, and they look at your work seriously. So that's how that's come about. So now, like I said, we've gotten 6 or 7 awards, and they're getting bigger and bigger. So Tally Award's pretty cool. I was really surprised when I found out that we won that award, and I'm very honored and proud of that. It was and again, congratulations to the team in Arizona at International Impact Book Awards for having the vision to help me put that documentary together.
Nice, nice. And you also produced other films like Shining in the Light and Road Cops. Like, what was the process like working on these films?
So when you go, again, when you go into, let's talk about Road Cops. It's actually getting ready to come out. There's Road Cops 1, Road Cops 2. So being an executive producer, it's my job to help manage the money on these films. Help talk with the director, with everybody involved in the picture, and making sure that we're on the right, that we stay on track. That's a fun process. It's a lot of work. We shot in several different locations all around LA and Orange County, and again a lot of work, and it takes months to go in and actually shoot a film. A lot of people, when you watch these movies, any movie, I don't think many people understand the process and what it takes to actually do that. There's a lot of work behind a film. First you have to cast the right actors. You got to make sure you have the finances first of all, cast the right actors, and then once you shoot, you might have to do a reshoot or you have some editing to do, obviously, to bring that package home, and the final product. And once you see it on screen, it's pretty cool when you go through the process.
Nice, nice. And have these films been submitted to any big film festivals yet?
Yeah, Road Cops was submitted. We actually were at I always call it the Grauman's Chinese Theater, so I'm going to show my age there. I think it's at the TLC Theater in Hollywood. Beautiful theater. So they have a film festival there every year. We actually won an award there, which was really cool for the film. It's been submitted to several other film festivals where it's won awards, and I think right now that film is getting ready to go out, and it's going to be streaming. I don't know on what platform, but we have picked up somebody that's going to stream it for us. So that's again, that's exciting for everybody that's involved in that film.
Yeah. And before I continue on, I want to give a shout out to at Kitty on Stage for being the first person that commented on my last episode on Instagram. Congratulations, you're getting a shout out. All right. So, Alan, you also do a lot of like nonprofit fundraisers. Tell me how you got inspired to start these fundraisers.
Well, again, I'm going to go back to athletes and their careers ending and them being broke. Maybe they need help with medical bills or help with living expenses. So we started putting on bowling events, and we do those once a year in Downey at the Del Rio Lanes. And that money, 100% of the money I raise goes to help athletes in need. And again, I think it's important to do that. I've always said, if you can give back, go ahead and give back, and do it from the from the bottom of your heart. Don't expect anything in return when you do that. We're going to be doing our fourth fundraiser in at the same bowling alley in Downey, California, probably in March. So I'm gonna wait. I'm waiting for about a year before, a year in between each fundraiser. So I'll do that. I'm involved in different fundraisers as well to help raise money, either through auctions or whatever it is, however we raise the money. But that's that's always fun to do. Also involved with Combat Mindset Solutions. Dr. Diana Aguirre runs that nonprofit. And so we have money there that we will give to probably kids in need, or it could be an athlete in need as well. I'm proud to be part of that organization. That's a separate organization. I sit on that board, and it's exciting what's going on there.
Nice. And how much money did you raise from these fundraisers?
Typically, we'll raise about $5,000, between $3,000 to $5,000. So it's not bad. And my company, so I own Bay Cities Paving Company. My company will sponsor the event, and then we take. I don't take anything back. So whatever I sponsor at 100%, and then whatever we raise, we'll put in the bank, and then we make sure that money gets dispersed to athletes in need. We'll usually talk amongst ourselves, and we'll come up with whoever we're going to give it to. So again, depending on the event, I will usually raise about anywhere between $3,000 to $5,000, which isn't bad after the expenses and everything. So we're doing okay there. My next event, we're looking to expand it, so we're going to be looking for sponsors to help us with the event, and we should raise a lot more money. I'm eventually looking at taking. We right now we use about 16 lanes of the bowling alley, which is one side, but we're looking at using both sides. So once we can do that, we'll raise a lot more money, and there will be a lot more awareness. So the last event we did was pretty successful, and we actually had the entire lanes 1 through 16 filled up, which was great. But my goal is to get all 32 lanes filled up, and I think that will be a success.
And since you're a boxer as well, talk to me about like your journey on starting boxing.
Ah, boxing. I'm not a boxer anymore. I'm a retired fighter, but that was a fun career for me. I enjoyed it immensely. You get to. I got when you're fighting in front of thousands of people. There's nothing like it in the world. It's just a different. It's a different mindset you're in, but there's a lot of training. You prepare for months and months for a fight, so that. You have to be very dedicated when you do that. I would be up at 4:30 in the morning getting my road work in. My manager would pick me up. We'd run up in Palos Verdes, California, almost every single day. They'd have me running down the LA River with another fighter. But we would run in the morning. I would get home, and because I had a company, I would go to work. I was fortunate to get off at 2 o'clock, and then I would go to the gym with my manager, and we would put a full 3 to 4 hours in training, going through the regimen of that every day, and then usually get home about 7:30, 8 o'clock at night. So that was 6, 7 days a week we did that. Again, like I said, my career was cut short. I've been fortunate to still be involved in the fight game as a supervisor and an international boxing judge for several of the sanctioning bodies. Right now, I'm working with the World Boxing Foundation, which or the World Boxing Federation, I should say. And I have, I just supervised my first world title fight in a while down in Miami, Florida, which was a lot of fun. Great fight. It was a great event. It was at the Hollywood I'm sorry, at the Hard Rock Cafe and Casino, Hard Rock Casino, I should say, in Hollywood, Florida. But great event, and I'm looking forward to doing that a few more times this year as well. So, boxing, I say, has always been good to me, and that's why I love to give back.
Nice, nice. And do you have any projects coming up soon?
Yeah, right now there is a project we're waiting they were filming in New Orleans, and we're just waiting now for them to come back and finish shooting here in LA. Like I said, I actually had a 20-page script for that particular movie. I don't want to give away a lot away about that movie, but it should be good. I know we have distribution already for the movie. From what I understand, I am the executive producer on this film. And we're looking at Regal Theaters is going to pick this project up, as well as oh my gosh, there's another theater as well, AMC, and so we're excited about that. So we're trying to get this thing wrapped up as quick as we can, and while the fire's still hot, and then get it out there, and hopefully a lot of people will watch it, and we'll do well with the film. I know right now, independent films are doing well. I know there's some crazy stories out there where kids are shooting um, video and using the cameras and coming up with these films, and they're making tons of money with it. So they're living the dream. Uh, I would just say this, being an independent film in the film industry or in the industry as an independent, it has its challenges. A lot of times it's financial. You have to come up with money, obviously, for these projects in order to make them happen. But we managed to do that, and a lot of times we'll get people to invest their money. That's part of my job as a producer, is to find investors to put the money up for these films. And we usually, when we sit down with them and we go through through the film, we show them what we're planning to do with it. They will invest their money. Again, it's like I always say, this is like betting on a racehorse. You get the right film, and it does well. You make some money back for it. But for a lot of us, it's about the love of the industry and loving what we're doing.
Nice, nice. And what are your future goals in your career?
You know what? For me, I like being in front of the camera, but more than that, more important. I think I love being behind the camera. I love working as a EP or a producer. I enjoy that. I enjoy doing things like that. That's challenging. I've always said this: people, if you've never been in front of a camera and actually acted, you don't know how hard that is. We just make it look easy because we're professionals, but it is a tough gig. I always tell people, hey, go to school if you want to do anything, no matter what it is, movies or running a business. But go ahead and make sure that you're good at what you do. Do your homework and just prepare yourself, because it's tough to be in front of a camera.
And do you have any advice for any professional producers, actors, boxers, or authors getting started in the industry?
Well, I would say this: make sure that whatever it is you're going to do, that you're 100% into it. Be passionate about it. The passion for me is everything. You have to be passionate about what you're doing. You have to like what you're doing. If you're going to write a book, make sure that when you write that book, that you have it ready to go, the manuscript, and you get it out to a publishing company. You can self-publish your book. There are a lot of ways to do that, but if you can get an actual agent to publish the book, or a literary agent, and find a big publishing company to handle that, that's the best way to go. It's tough to do, but like I said, passion is everything. Again, if you're going to act, do your homework. Take some classes at a high school, or if you're in school, go into class. Learn how to act. You can go, and they have classes where you can actually sign up, and they'll teach you. There's courses out there. You can do that. So I would recommend doing that. If you want to go behind the scenes, there are schools. You want to work behind the scenes in Hollywood, there are schools where you can go to school and learn those different trades. They have trade schools for that. And again, it's a great way to go. It's a great industry. You can make a lot of money if you're successful at it. If you want to start a business, I say make sure that, again, you do your homework and you know what it is you're going to do. make sure you have everything set. I always tell people the first thing to do is get your company right, get a fictitious business name. You have to go through some paperwork to take care of that, but that's important. And then set up your bank account. Make sure that you have everything lined up, and then just work hard at it. A lot of people don't realize how hard it is. They think it's easy. If you're going to be a business owner, that's 24/7. It doesn't end. I'm fortunate. I've been with my company. I've owned my company. I started it 38 years ago. And I never, looking back, I never dreamed that I would be saying that, hey, I've been in business for 38 years. But it's been good. It's like a roller coaster. It's up and down, and you just have to learn how to maneuver, the ramps. And if you can do that, you'll be successful.
Nice, nice. Alan, thank you so much for joining me today and having a great conversation with me.
Thank you. I appreciate you having me on your show. And have a great weekend. Happy 4th of July to everybody. And God bless America. That's all I can say.
Yeah, I wish you all the luck and all the success in your journey and the 4th of July. Get Alan Santana's book called Unprotected, The Final Round on Amazon.com and watch Alan Santana's film he produced called The Narcissist on a streaming service that will be coming soon. Also, subscribe to my podcast and follow my podcast on Instagram and TikTok, as well as Alan and I's social media accounts linked below too. Thank you to my producer, Christian, and I'll see you next time for another episode of The Life of Hollywood.
Take care,
Thank you,
guys.
everybody.
Bye-bye.
See you later on The Life of Hollywood.